What an absolutely perfect pay-per-view to bring back fans to. Money in the Bank has come and gone. Two very interesting Money in the Bank winners. One kind of expected, one a little bit more unexpected, I would say. Banger matchups all over this card, but I'm not going to front with you. The best part came at the end, and we gonna get to that because it was awesome. But my name is Jordan Moser, and this is your Money in the Bank recap and review. We start things off with the pre-show. We see the first matchup for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Dominic and Rey Mysterio defending against Jimmy and Jey Uso. We see the Usos come out first to a very loud pop. I love to see that. The fans are showing their appreciation for them boys because they've been doing their thing. And as the first ones out, they deserve that pop, of course. We do see a very fun tag team matchup. We see the faces in peril kind of as the Mysterios for most of the time. And Dominic really coming into his own, and just in terms of like spacing and things like that. I really liked his work in this matchup, of course. We do see near the end of this matchup, we see as Rey Mysterio is going for a 619 on Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso just on the floor sticks his head in front of Jey to prevent him from getting hit with that 619. That's a good brother right there. I want y'all to understand how much that matters, how much that really matters to a brother. That's good. This allows Jey to take control. He hits Rey with that super kick, goes up top for a splash. He hits it, but Rey kicks out as two. This caused me a little bit of trepidation. I'm like, what's about to happen? But we do see the end of this matchup come very swiftly after that. We see Rey is thrown into the turnbuckle, and that allows Jimmy to roll him up. And as he's rolling him up, other brother is on the outside with his foot against his back, like all the way up like this against his back. And that allows Rey to not kick out for the 1, 2, 3. And the Usos have won the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. They celebrate on the ramp, and the Mysterios look dejected in the ring as we kind of end things off on that pre-show. But yeah, very unexpected tag team title change. I definitely expected the Usos to win it eventually, maybe a little bit later on, especially after, Jimmy got a DUI like a couple weeks ago. We're not going to bypass that. So that was very interesting, but definitely expected them to win it at some point. But very fun tag team match here. Not completely mad at it at all, and it kind of plays into the story that they have with Roman eventually coming into his match as well. So very good stuff here on the pre-show, of course. And to kick off the main show, we got the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. 8 participants. I'm not going to name them all because that is a lot. We do see all women just go to their own devices here at the beginning of the matchup, getting ladders. We see Alexa Bliss actually just chilling in the ropes, just chilling. You're like, well, I'm gonna let y'all do all the dirty work. I'm gonna let y'all get the ladders and such, She eventually does get involved. She even at one point tries to use her powers to bring down the briefcase. That didn't work. We see her eventually induce Zelina Vega while she's on the ladder to bring her down as well. So a lot of magic stuff from Alexa Bliss in this matchup, but not too much, I would say. But yeah, all women really got their fair share to show what they got and just shine in this matchup. I definitely say Natalya, more so like the forerunner, really playing defense a lot throughout this matchup, and Liv Morgan with her athleticism just spot on with a lot of her moves that she was doing. So both of those women, as well as the rest of the women, were really awesome in this matchup. It did kind of plod around the middle point, I would say, as a lot of awkward spots were going down, but it really picked back up once we saw Nikki Ash dive off the ladder on the outside to all 7 women just in the ring as well. Very nice little dive that she had. We see near the end of this matchup, we see as Alexa Bliss is just trying to use everything to her advantage to get up that ladder. Everybody else is like, nah. They take her out. They bury her under ladders outside the ring, and they threw a lot of them jumps on her. Like, she was not getting back up, and she didn't get back up, frankly. But we see at the end of this matchup, it's pretty much a free-for-all. All women are climbing up the ladder, just trying to reach that briefcase. 3 ladders in the ring, 6 women fighting, going at it, and with those 6 women fighting, you see you're missing one. As they're missing one, it's Nikki Ash. She is climbing up the middle ladder. Nobody notices that she's climbing up this ladder. And she grabs the briefcase and celebrates. She goes and run off. She's happy. She's doing the superhero pose and everything. And she celebrates on the ramp as everybody looks dejected. Like, how did we let this happen? And frankly, how did you let this happen? not that Nikki is a bad winner, of course, but one, her new character is giving me a cause to pause a little bit, and two, the end of this matchup was just a little premature, it felt, and a little bit weird with how it was kind of structured. I love Nikki Cross, so hopefully she gets the chance to just kind of shine in this, but I definitely thought that Liv Morgan was kind of there for the taking, like it was her match to lose, and she lost it, so I don't know. But very okay matchup. I would say it probably wasn't the strongest Money in the Bank ladder match, at least on the women's side, of course, but definitely had its moments. Definitely, I like Nikki Cross as the winner. I want to see what she kind of does with the briefcase and her new superhero character. A couple of things I thought could have been better, but that's neither here or there. Very, I would say, interesting way to kind of start off the show, and unexpected as well. Next up, we have for the Raw Tag Team Championships, AJ Styles and Omos defending against the Viking Raiders. Very okay tag team matchup, I would definitely say. Most of it was just kind of getting used to Omos and just putting him in the forefront of everything. We see him pretty much start off the matchup. He did a lot of new tag team moves with AJ Styles. We see them kind of forming as a team. He throws AJ out the ring and he hits a Hurricanrana on Eric, I believe, which is a very fun tag team move. I love that they're kind of gelling, of course. We do see AJ Styles. He pretty much is I don't know how to explain it. You know how it's like with Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. When Dakota Kai is in the matchup, she's kind of just sucking, then Raquel goes in, then she dominates. That's what it kind of was here for the most part. And AJ Styles is too great of a talent to have that happen. But every time he was in the matchup, he just wasn't doing too well. And then he gets Omos in and he comes in and dominates and things like that. So just a very interesting dynamic how it's kind of changed for the most part. We do see Omos just really impressive in this matchup. He's definitely come a long way. We see him at one point just using that strength, getting Ivar up for that military press and just like slamming him down, like things like that. I was like, yes, I need more of this, yes. We do see at one point near the end of this matchup, they do hit the Viking experience on AJ Styles, and Omos just throws Eric into the pinfall outside the ring. It just breaks it up at 2, which was just a very awesome way to just break up the count, of course. Eventually, Omos gets back into the matchup, hits a choke bomb on Eric for the 1, 2, 3, and the retention of the Raw Tag Team Championships for himself and AJ Styles. Like I said, very okay tag team matchup. The Viking Raiders definitely did their part. AJ Styles honestly was just kind of there, unfortunately, which I shouldn't be saying about Mr. Styles, but definitely a nice little coming out party for Omos. He definitely did his thing in the ring and outside the ring for the most part, so he definitely did his job. Let's go growth, but yeah, very okay tag team match for sure. Next up, we have the WWE Championship Match. Bobby Lashley, the Almighty, defending against Kofi Kingston. We do see a quick start to this matchup by Kofi. He knocks Bobby off his feet a couple of times. That was it. That was all the extent of the offense that Kofi got in. Bobby eventually hits a spine buster, and he was not playing. He went to work. He went to town on this boy. He took him to the woodshed. He eventually, near the end of this matchup, hits just 3 dominators in a row at the behest of the crowd, locks in that hurt lock, and Kofi has no point but to tap out. This was very much a squash match, and I loved every second of it. This was not my favorite matchup on the show, but my favorite thing on this show. It showed Bobby Lashley just in another mode. This is exactly how you book heel champions that are dominant and that are buff like this, and use them like this every single time. You don't gotta save everybody. You don't gotta spare everybody. Kofi is gonna recover. He's done this before. He's been there for like 15 years. He does this. Bobby Lashley at this very moment, this was so, I don't think y'all understand how awesome this was. Like, this is an amazing squash. You're like, oh, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, most dominant one-sided championship match, and no, this is something different. Like, this was incredibly done. Thank God for WWE giving that rocket to Bobby Lashley. Let him go face Goldberg or whatever. I don't care. But this right here, this was phenomenal. This was perfect. Dude, yay. And next up, we got for the Raw Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley defending against Charlotte Flair. I do love this matchup. We see Charlotte Flair right at the beginning. She is hostile towards those fans, just flips them off and like, I'm like, dang girl, what they do to you? Don't front. But once this match settled down, it was amazing, extremely physical from jump, from go, and throughout the matchup as well. Both women really had this weird chemistry. Kind of felt like they were one step ahead of each other throughout the entire matchup, which was really cool. Probably their best matchup since their WrestleMania 36 encounter, and for both of them, probably their best match in general for Rhea Ripley since she's been on the main roster, and for Charlotte ever since she's come back from hiatus and things like that. But both women's best matches in a really long time. We see even at one point as Charlotte just kind of womaning up, she's just getting hit with these chops by Rhea Ripley. She's just like, nah, bro, I'm Superwoman. Like, you can't do this. This ain't gonna affect me. We see her eventually in that sequence off with a nice little moonsault. Even near the end of this match, we see her in this nice little jumping natural selection from the top rope. Rhea kicked out at two, but even still, just the move was just chef's kiss. I love to see it. She really took it to a whole nother level in this matchup for Charlotte. We do see the end of this matchup as Charlotte is outside the ring. Rhea Ripley is just laid down inside. Charlotte drags her, kind of puts her foot in between the pole and the steel steps and goes to task on that leg. Kicks it 3 times, just destroys that leg of Rhea Ripley. And as she gets back in the ring, Charlotte locks on that figure 8 leg lock. She bridges, and Rhea can't do nothing about it, unfortunately. She taps out reluctantly, and we have a new Raw Women's Champion in Charlotte Flair. What a phenomenal matchup. Definitely, I would say their best matchup since their WrestleMania 36 encounter, and maybe even a little bit beyond that, just based on your preference and things like that, of course. But Charlotte coming out on top is not what I predicted, but I wouldn't say that it's the wrong move either. She has been taking it home since she's come back from hiatus, and so she's been doing her thing. So I'm definitely not mad at the title change. Rhea Ripley will, of course, be in the title picture and things like that. And maybe even with Becky coming back, we get a little spicy things going on. So, but yeah, this is an awesome women's matchup. Definitely to just kind of stick his claim to the show, of course. But definitely the best matchup on the show at the time, of course. Next up, we have our second Money in the Bank ladder matchup of the night for the men. Another 8 competitors. Again, I am not going to say all of their names, of course, but definitely this was a lot more high-paced than the earlier Money in the Bank ladder match. This one did not lag at any point, really. The action never really stopped. We see just a very fast start to this matchup, and it really never let up. We do see kind of a little bit of a point. We see Johnny Drip Drip and Seth Rollins. I labeled them the Drip Kings at this point. They kind of took control and just kind of used their alliance to their advantage. Kind of in the beginning parts of this matchup, kind of 2 parts of this matchup, kind of before interference and after interference. But the Drip Kings really took control. That's until Drew McIntyre kind of got involved, and he's taking both of them on 2-on-1. But we do see as he's kind of taking out the whole field with claymores and just different moves. Drew McIntyre is climbing up that ladder, but that is when Veer and Shanky, we see Jinder Mahal's buddies, they come in and get involved. They take him off the ladder, drag him outside the ring. That's where Jinder Mahal is waiting with the steel chair, just goes to town on Mr. McIntyre, and he gets his boys to drag him to the back. We never see Drew McIntyre after that. Don't really know what happened, but thank God he did not win this match. I'm not going to front with you, because if he did, we would have been upset a little bit, but we're not going to front with that. But after interference, this was just balls to the wall crazy, really a free-for-all. Definitely Matt Riddle and Ricochet just added an element of funness and just excitement to this matchup that I don't know how to explain. Like Ricochet just coming off that ladder, just a springboard senton to the outside onto all those guys. Boy, he is incredible, man. But we do see near the end of this matchup, as everything's kind of getting involved, we do see Kevin Owens. He's taking out the field with stunners and pop-up powerbombs. He's going up, but Seth Rollins doesn't allow that. He takes him, grabs him in a powerbomb position, and throws him onto a ladder on the outside. He is destroyed at that point. He's not getting back up. Refs check on him and everything, and this allows Seth Rollins, he sees an opening. He goes up to climb, but the last man standing is Big E. We see him. He grabs Rollins off the ladder, goes up top, and hits a big ending from the top of the ladder. That allows Big E, the powerhouse of positivity, to go ahead and climb up and retrieve the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's the new Mr. Money in the Bank. My God, this was an incredible Money in the Bank ladder match. I loved every second of this. Even the parts where the Drip Kings were kind of in control. It was kind of plotting a little bit, but they were taking control, and I loved it. I love Big E as the winner for Mr. Money in the Bank. He deserves it. He is too talented to be sent to the sidelines or whatever. Like, this is his moment, and he owned up to it, and I'm so happy that he was emotional. We got to see that big smile on his face and him enjoying the moment. I loved it. Thank God Drew McIntyre did not win this matchup, but yeah, this was an amazing fun all around. Everybody got to shine, even like guys like John Morrison and Ricochet, who were kind of more so like background characters. They did their thing. Everything really came together with this matchup. It was structured perfectly. It was chef's kiss, I would say. This was awesome. Last up in our main event, we got for the Universal Championship, the head of the table, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns defending against the Rated R Superstar Edge. I will say that this matchup began very slow, and I did not have high hopes after like the first 7 to 8 minutes of this matchup, but it definitely got better from there, thank the Lord. We do see Edge eventually try to come back after Roman was very dominant for the first half of this matchup. Edge is coming back, hits an execution, eventually gets on an STF a la the man who came back. We see Roman kind of get into the ropes to kind of break that up, of course. They eventually make their way outside of the ring. Roman misses a spear, just runs himself through the barricade pretty much as he misses Edge, but Edge is not playing around. He comes back and hits another spear through the barricade on Roman Reigns as both men are kind of laid out on the outside. But yeah, very good second half of this matchup, I would say. As they get back in the ring, there is a very bad ref bump. It's probably the worst ref bump I have ever seen in my life. It was pretty bad, but it was definitely understandable, of course, with everything that transpired afterwards. But the ref bump happened. We see Roman Reigns, he goes outside, he takes that leg off of the chair as he's trying to do to Edge what Edge has done to him pretty much so many times, of course. He tries to get that crossface on him with that piece of the chair, and Edge is like, that's what I do, buddy. Can't nobody do that but me. He eventually reverses that and gets that crossface on with the piece of chair in his mouth, just wrenching back on him. We do see as the ref is still down with his ankle injury, it seems, and he's taken off by the other road agents and things like that. The Usos try to come out, they try to help their homeboy out, but the Mysterios are not having it. They take them off and they run them off up the ramp some more. But we do see Edge just continue to keep this thing locked in on Roman, and then we see Seth freaking Rollins come out of nowhere, hits a super kick on Edge to break things up, eventually comes back later on in the matchup as well to distract Edge as he's going for another spear, and that allows Roman to go ahead and hit his spear for the 1, 2, 3 and the retention of the Universal Championship for Roman Reigns. Yeah, very nice back ends into the matchup. I would say a lot of interference, which kind of took away from it for me, but all in all, just a very fun matchup, very kind of crescendo-y matchup. I would say I love a good crescendo when it kind of gets to that point. So Edge and Roman played those roles perfectly. This is definitely one of the better matchups we've seen for Roman Reigns and kind of his Universal title run. So yeah, this was awesome. We do see at the end of this matchup, Seth and Roman, they're kind of facing off and things like that, and that allows Edge to kind of recover. He tries to attack Seth, runs him off to the back and everything like that. Roman is standing tall. He's like, I did the work. Now y'all can acknowledge me. Now y'all can respect me. And as he finishes saying that and he's about to leave, God dang it, John Cena comes back. Oh my gosh, John Cena is back in WWE. He comes, he gets in the ring, he does his little shtick, he steps up to Roman Reigns. You can't see me, man. He just poses on the turnbuckle as the show goes off the air, and Roman is just disgusted. He's just looking at him like, I thought I was done here, man. Oh my gosh, John Cena, bro. John Cena is back. This makes me so happy. You don't really understand, frankly. I love me some John Cena. Having him back, at least even for a little bit, is just an awesome thing. And him versus Roman, the promo battles now, just compared to like 4 years ago, the match, it's gonna be fire. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. But all in all, very fun matchup in our main event. Edge and Seth Rollins is going to be fire. The Usos and the Mysterios once again is going to be fire. And Roman Reigns versus John Cena. Summerslam, and we about to get a little bit feisty up in here in Vegas. I'm looking forward to this. But yeah, the last, I would say like 15 minutes of this main event segment, so good, so freaking good. WWE really knew what to do with their first pay-per-view back with fans. Like, they played this joint extremely perfectly. A lot of the matchups on this card were bangers. A lot of interesting choices in terms of like Money in the Bank winners and just like title changes and things like that. The awesome return of John Cena at the end of the show to one of the loudest pops I have ever heard in my entire life. This was phenomenally done. I cannot wait for the road to SummerSlam just to form and take shape. Everything, most of the things on this night was pretty fire. I like this Money in the Bank pay-per-view a lot. I gotta say, it's one of the best pay-per-views I've seen from WWE in a good amount of time. But that is gonna be it from me. You will see the road to SummerSlam and the rest of the videos throughout the coming weeks and months and such. But I am out. Peace. Enjoy your night. Go to sleep, please, and enjoy the rest of this summer months for WWE. It is going to be a doozy. I'll see you soon.